platform. I'm live on Bolo VNR 2.0. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Got some things to talk about. Got some things to talk about. Let's talk about it. So, can put this up. Put this one like that. Sometimes I go out of frame, but I saw it go. I go live on almost. I go live on three of my platform them right now. At once. All at once. All at once. Come on. For the people on this one. It's members only in the comment section. Yes, God is the greatest. God is the greatest all the time. Not just when we win, but even when it appears that we're losing. You understand? Sometimes I need a setback to get set up for the good stuff. All right. And that's facts. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Wherever you are in the world. Bless you, bless you, bless you. It's your brother Bolo VNR. I put out today on Bolo VNR 2.2 and Bolo VNR clips. Either channel you're on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, I would encourage you to become, you can join the family over there on YouTube. All right, I really would encourage you on that. Like this video, share this video, get the video up to 500 likes minimum. I have still not left the FinSAP thing, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, because there's so much, and not just FinSAP, but the overall lies told on the PMP administration. The idea that they just destroy the economy. When they get the baton, they get it and it was amazing and it was good and it was great. And then, them just come mash up the economy. It is a lie from the pits of hell, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. And that is just the truth. I mean, I'm at a place where personally I don't trust not even the hair on Andrew Holness head. Man no feel like so, brother. Man no feel like so. Man no feel so deceptive, bro. The man is like a snake. You understand? When you're in leadership position, you know, and especially in the age of technology, where people can go back and look and do them research. Money being what you doing. Good night, good night. So we are gonna check in on some things where Mama P is concerned, see? And we are gonna check in on some things with London 45, right? And stuff like that. And also the newspaper. There was an Auditor General report, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, good night, Patsy, how you doing? Make we go over the Auditor General report, the Auditor General article first before we start anything else. That's how I start the show today. Let's read. Let's read, ladies and gentlemen. Let's read. What are they? Back up. What is that I just saw a while ago? What is this? Lucy Mayer, who is spreading the call for a national response to what? Spate of recent flooding in Hanover. Rotted. Recent flooding. Some more flooding are going on in Hanover. Hey, Jamaica, I'm telling you see, there's a lot of things happening in Jamaica, because we depend on one other place in Jamaica. We don't really understand what's going on, but may I tell you, say, Jamaica now a serious judgment, yeah, man. Hey, the struggle is real. Believe when me tell us that the struggle is real, ladies and gentlemen. The struggle is real. Alright? But we already, well, on this platform, you should already know that already, and there's only one way to prepare, yes? You see, Nationwide pull out an article. Hold on. Police commissioner warns against complacent amid continued murder decline. Government overpaid salaries for public sector workers by over 200 million in the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Overpaid public sector workers. Work underway to stabilize onion market amid glut. Really? Government gets more prefab homes to address post-Hurricane Melissa housing needs. So on there. China sent some more thing again. KSMC to review vending fee structure at Constant Spring Arcade. No booking fee needed to secure a seat on Ocherius or HWT bus. Um, what else? That's not what I saw. I'm just going through some of these. Cuban officials report island-wide blackout on Monday. Interesting. There's an article about the Cuban doctor's response that I saw. Not Cuban doctor, but the Cuban foreign affairs official that I wanted to tap into as well. Police Agricultural Protection Branch credits success to new surveillance system. Antigua says it's absorbing rising cost of fuel to limit impact on public. JCF head of ballistics hails department work following Silvera sentence. Oh. JLP communication led charges. G2K with explaining budget. JLP communications led charges. G2K with explaining budget to public. Ah, that's funny. Economist argues contributions to overfunding NHT should be reduced. Wow, that's interesting. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I just believe that NHT needs Jetline. What's up? I believe that NHT needs to go back to its original mandate, and so the money can be used for the people that it's supposed to be used for, and not what this government has been using it for the last 10 years or the last 7 years. DJ, big up. DJ Dane, big up yourself. Jamaica students in Cuba says colleagues are suffering due to U.S. oil blockade. I would love to interview a couple of those students for us to have an appreciation of what they have done to the Cubans in the last however long they have been doing that to them with this embargo. I would really love to hear from them. Jamaican, Japan, Australia decline U.S. call to send ships to reopen Strait of Hormuz. Oh, definitely need to look at this story. Mr. Mr. Ranif, I was saying Ranif. Mr. Ranif Lawrence resigns for Integrity Commission. I want to hear what that's about. Police monitoring counterfeit market amid impending tax on cigarettes. Political analyst wants Golding to focus on nation building amid global tension. Hmm. I'm not seeing that article. If I don't see it, I'm going to move on. Maybe it's the old article with the Cuban something. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. Yeah, man, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. This the AI videos on the internet about the Israel president. Did you guys see it? Extreme Beauty, what's up? Lauren, how you doing? Did you guys see the AI video? Why? Something will go on. Something will go on. I don't know, but somebody show something. I don't know how true it is. We have to be careful about the news surrounding Israel and Iran and America here. Um, it is very, very serious, ladies and gentlemen. Be very, very mindful about the news you hear coming out about that thing. Anyway, we're gonna move on from looking for that that article. Let me go to this. There will be a walkthrough, ladies and gentlemen, a walk plan. Michael Ennis, Coffiner of planned walk from Duke Street to Heroes Park in Kingston on Tuesday to show gratitude and appreciation to the Cuban people for their 50 years of medical support to Jamaicans. Says the move has resonated with many, both local and in the diaspora. Ennis told the Gleaner yesterday that he has teamed up with other like-minded individuals to show gratitude to the Cuban medical team. I am so happy to hear that. I believe Jamaica is going to get right off whether and not Cuba change leadership or remain with leadership as government. My opinion. I don't even understand what that's saying. Jamaica is going to get right off. Or whether or not Cuba change leadership. Jamaica, good night, June sleep. So you doing, my darling? Um, yeah, when it comes on to Jamaica, Jamaica will not escape. I don't know how it's going to happen, but prophetically, you know, um, people are going to be in hot water. They are people are going to get moved up, ladies and gentlemen, prophetically. So, um, we're just watching and waiting on the Lord's hand to be revealed, and we see how it happens. You understand? All right. So here we go. This is the article. Mrs. Monroe Ellis. There's no article of hers that I can just leave and not share, right? For the people that are watching on OBS, this is how we call it now, um, members only, members only chat. If you want to type in the chat, come over to the other part, the other live on Bolo VNR 2.2. I'm doing a live on the computer and on the phone, virtual. I'm glad you're good, darling. So it says here that Monroe Ellis, law needed to close climate change response gap. This should be interesting. Um, you know what? I probably should record this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, good day, good day, good day. I am your brother Bolo VNR, and we're here with another, reaction. Um, Miss Monroe Ellis with an article titled Monroe Ellis, Law Needed to Close Climate Change Response Gap. Let's see what she has to say. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis says the Jamaican government has laid a solid foundation for the country's climate response, but is warning of the absence of climate legislation in the House of Representatives last week. She says that, sorry, hold on, but warns of the absence of climate legislation to create legal enforceable standards and oversight mechanism. All right. Her assessment was made in a 27-page report on Jamaica climate response tabled in the House of Parliament of House of Representatives last week. I don't know why I keep saying House of Parliament. Carly E. Banks, big up. The report evaluated Jamaica's progress across three primary axes: governance, public policy, and climate finance. Using a scale where scores of 6.66 or higher indicate a strength and 3.33 or lower signals a challenge. At the same time, Monroe Ellis cautioned that her department review did not did not include verification of a technical or scientific data, but relied on information provided by the ministry's department and agencies it engaged with. Additionally, the assessment did not extend to non governmental or private sector organizations. With a score of 80%, Monroe Ellis says the country has made significant progress in establishing a strong framework, notably through the climate change policy framework and the long term emission reduction and climate resilience strategy LTS. She noted um, she noted a strong institutional coordination led by the climate change division and a systematic mainstreaming of climate risk in public investment. However, she pointed to a lack of climate specific legislation, like underdeveloped vertical coordination between national and local levels, a limited participation of vulnerable groups in decision making. It goes on to say here that the government of Jamaica needs to meet its commitment to develop climate legislation to create legal enforceable standards and oversight mechanisms, as well as ensure that efforts towards strengthening coordination between nations and lo- between national and local levels are achieved, stated the report produced by Auditor General Department. On the matter of public policy, a score of 82% was given, with Monroe Ellis indicating that Jamaica demonstrated high ambition through its updated 2020 Nationally Determined Contribution NDC, which expanded coverage to include land use, forestry, and waste. She said that there were mitigations there were mitigation targets in the energy sector, pointing to the 50% renewable energy goal by 2030 and disaster risk management integration. At the same time, she said a finalized national adaptation plan is still pending, with a 2026 target, and that 7 out of 12 priority sectors still lack dedicated adoption strategies. 7 out of 12, so that's more than half. Um, on climate, on climate financing, Monroe Ellis gave the country a score of 52%, indicating that there is considerably room for improvement. She noted that while public climate finance allocations increased by 253% between financial year 2021 to 2022 and 2024 to 2025. Tracking remains fragmented with no centralized system to monitor public, private, and indirect climate finance flows. Very interesting. Let me read that again. Tracking remains fragmented with no centralized system to monitor public, private, or indirect climate finance flows. So that means there's not proper tracking of the money. for public, private, and indirect climate finance flows. That's what I'm reading from this. Very interesting. Over this period, the Auditor General noted that allocation to the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Climate Change Adaptation and Mitigation Subprogram increased steadily from 416.9 million to 627.3 million before significantly rising to 1.4 billion in financial year 2024 to 2025. In the area of climate finance, Jamaica took steps to integrate climate priority into public budget and secure funding from international sources such as the Green Climate Fund. However, financial tracking was fragmented with no comprehensive system in place to monitor public, private, and indirect climate finance across sectors. Finance tracking focus mainly on public private projects, leaving purely private investments underreported. Let me read that again. Finance tracking focus mainly on public to private projects, leaving purely private investments underreported. What does this mean? What I am seeing from this is that in the private investment area, the tracking of money is underreported. Now, in a climate of Jamaica where we have a prime minister that has not been certified, and we have an environment of perceived corruption and also proven corruption based off the eye test and what we're looking at, this is not a good look. This needs to be dealt with quickly. Could this be another area, another loophole, another gap where entities and individuals are filling their pockets, ladies and gentlemen? This is a question, and I believe it's a legit question based off where we are at in our country where corruption is concerned. Like and share the video, please. Get the video up to 1,000 likes. The Auditor General, and share this with 20 people that you never shared it before. All right, my side, y'all know what to do. The Auditor General said that while foundation policies, plans, and partnerships were in place, implementation and accountability mechanisms needed to be strengthened. Always accountability, mighty God. She said enhanced data management, stakeholder inclusion, capacity building, and the development of the sector specific finance strategy will be critically in acceleration progress towards climate resilience. Let's read that again. She said enhanced data management, stakeholder inclusion, capacity building, and the development of sector specific financing strategies will be critical in accelerating progress towards climate resilience. So, this is important. They talk about climate resilience, but what are the things that they're implementing to ensure it? She concluded that Jamaica has made meaningful progress in climate governance by aligning policies with global commitment, mobilizing climate financing, and developing key strategies such as its LTC and updated NDC. Additionally, she said institutional structures, budgeting framework, increasing reflected climate priorities. However, gaps remain, including the absence of dedicated climate legislation, weak coordination with local authorities, limited stakeholder engagement, insufficient inclusion of vulnerable groups, said the report. Further, she said climate monitoring and finance systems are evolving but lack centralized real-time public access. She added that legislative oversight and stakeholder accountability are also improving but remaining fragmented, and highlighted that the judiciary has yet to engage the climate enforcement. Um, no, she said that the judiciary has yet to engage in climate enforcement. That is really what is the Minister of Justice doing? Why are they getting paid? I don't understand. He goes on to say that the Auditor General said advancing enforcement legislation, strengthening institutional coordination, especially local, especially locally, enhancing inclusion, enhancing inclusive engagement, and integrating monitoring and financing tracking systems are critical. These steps will boost transparency, build resilience, and support low carbon development paths aligned with national and global goals, she noted in the report. All right, my people. Wow, wow. So this is thank God for the Auditor General, and you know, I I am now aware that these gaps are there, and I am now aware, and you are aware if you're listening about these gaps, and we need to keep an eye on this. And I'm also calling on the People's National Party to look into these recommendations by the Auditor General, and to get behind the Auditor General with the enforcement of same, because we cannot go forward just doing the same things over and over again. Um, we don't want politicians that believe that they should be trusted but not demonstrate why they should be trusted. We don't want that. We want politicians that actually know that trust is integral. You understand? And actually do the things to build trust with the people of the country, because we have been abused by corruption for quite some time, and even right now in real time the same thing is happening under this administration. You understand? So let me know what you guys think about what the Auditor General had to say in the comment section. Let's get to the next piece and portion of what I want to share. Alright, again, get this video to 1,000 likes. Share this with 20 persons I never did before. Follow me on all platforms, Bolo VNR, Bolo VNR, Bolo VNR Clips, Bolo VNR 2.0, and Bolo TBV. Follow me on Instagram, Win with Bolo. The super chat is available. The cash app information is there. The Zelle is there. All that is pinned in the comment section. All right, let's get it. Now, Mr. Ronif now. Let me go to Mr. Ronif. Find out why Mr. Ronif, if there's any information there as to why he decided to resign from the post, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to share the screen because it's Oceanwide page. Nationwide understands that Director of Corruption Prosecution of the Integrity Commission, Ronif, the Director of Corruption Prosecution, this man holds a very important post, ladies and gentlemen. Right? The post was advertised in Sunday's edition of the Gleaner newspaper. It understands Lawrence is tipped to take up an appointment as a judge. Oh, Mr. Lawrence is being upgraded. He's getting a bigger job. So he's taking away himself from the Integrity Commission. That post need to be filled with somebody credible. Lawrence was appointed to act in the sensitive post in April 2025, triggering an objection from the leaders of the government business in the parliament, Edmund Bartlett and Kamina Johnson Smith. Them exposed themselves there. So his initial acting appointment followed the sudden departure of Keisha Prince Kamika, the ones that the one that I personally don't trust. Triggering an object, no, sorry, whose contract was reportedly not renewed at the time she was given no reason for the non-renewal. That tells you everything you need to know. This trigger speculation that there was disquiet among some in the leadership of the commission over her failure to recommend charges against Prime Minister Andrew Holness over his statutory declaration. The government's parliamentary leaders objected to Lawrence's appointment, noting close relationship with People's National Party General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell. Dr. Dayton Campbell had made heavy weather of the Prime Minister's declaration leading up to the 2025 general election, rightfully so. We still don't know if this man stole his money or if he made it, legally. We don't know. We just don't know. He's not certified. But despite this, the chairman of the Integrity Commission, Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick, dismissed the government's concern. Oh, I love that article. Do you guys remember that article? Oh, I loved it. Lawrence was consequently permanently appointed to the post October 2025, and now just about 4 months later it appears he has left the anti-corruption watchdog. Ladies and gentlemen, is it possible that that man was pressured? Is it possible? It is quite possible. But let me go to this situation right here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me play this video.
You can't stop that. That's straight nature that. If rain fall, you can't stop it. Or you can't make content for that. But when river come down, a bang to bang.
Believe me, if you don't understand it, you cannot cross it.
I notice you're a business operator right next door to the Ryder River. All the Ryder River is cheating over here.
My name is Sharon Price. Well, I've been operating here now for the past 5 years. Well, when the river overflows,
Prestige, big up
the whole
yourself.
area gets flooded out.
Prestige
And
Design and Tailoring, big up.
For that time, for the whole time that the river is flooded out, business stopped. So you have no more business again until the place free up, the river dry. So if it take 2, 3, 4 hours, that's how long you have in a business for until the road clear again.
You are on the spot and you see what is happening. What do you think they need to do so that you can fix this problem once and for all?
I wouldn't know what to do to fix it once and for all because I'm not an engineer. However, if they would clean the river with the debris that come down from the hill, the bamboo and all that comes down, if they would clean it often, they wouldn't have the overflow that we have from time. They should be doing it on a regular basis because anytime they do it in the rainy season, we don't have the overflow.
Okay. But part of the solution they're looking at, they say that when the place gets blocked up, traffic from Miguel to Montego Bay to include tourists going to the airport get trapped in town and all that. When rain fall and river come down, no man can stop that. So they're looking at creating a bypass.
For small businesses like us that depend on passerbys, persons that are traveling from Montego Bay to Miguel or wherever, that is going to cut business for us.
Wow.
No, we don't only have to depend on persons who know us, the community, and them sales will be limited. But that wouldn't be good for us, for small business.
But the last time this got flooded, the mayor said that the drains just too small. They can't manage. You think that they probably need to invest in some bigger drains or something like that?
Well, I guess that amounts to impact town planning.
When rain fall and river come down, no man can stop that. That's straight nature that. If rain fall, you can't stop it. Or you can't make content for that. But when river come down, a bang to bang.
Believe me, if you don't understand it, you cannot cross it.
So that is a situation. That lady is very intelligent. Um, the lady that they interviewed, she said, "I'm not an engineer, but Antonio, what's up?" She said, "I'm not an engineer, but one problem that is obvious is the actual um, debris that is there. That is a causation for the situation just exploding into more. So hopefully they can help those people out because again, their businesses. They're talking about Jamaica is about to get really, really rough, more than it was already, given this new tax plan that the government came through with the new taxes, right? And my mom went to do some local shopping today, and I tell her, my mother ball out Jamaica. The price them of the stuff them gone up already. Yeah, man. The Iran war, the effect of it on our pockets, it is already popping, guys. Already popping. Yeah, so, you know, be prepared for what is to come. And for what is to come, be prepared. Let's go to Miss London 45 here. Let's see what she has to say.
Newsflash, you guys, newsflash. This news just come in a while ago. Auditor flags possible fraud at JAS, Jamaica Agriculture Society. 14 hours ago, government auditors have raised concern about possible collusion in the division of public funds linked to the Jamaica Agriculture Society. So let me tell you something. When you don't want something to talk about, when you go on over there, go talk about the criminal, them, I want to leave me alone. I'm not running the country, I'm not working for the government. All I'm out here doing is talking for myself and my people. When you go to hell with a bag of teeth them over there, on an idiot lab rats, Newsflash, guys, newsflash. This news just come in a while ago. Auditor flags possible fraud at JAS, Jamaica Agriculture Society. 14 hours ago, government auditors have raised concern about possible collusion in the division of public funds linked to the Jamaica Agriculture Society. So let me tell you something.
Them ever come to London, Them ever come to London, but it's the wrong idea because this government is the gifts that keep on giving when it come on to, all the things that are going wrong. But I am wondering is which article that, hold on there. I'm wondering is which article that, ladies and gentlemen, because I did not see that one. I did not see that article that she's talking about. And she did that video. She did that video some hours ago. And the actual article was 14 hours before that. So it had to be something that I missed yesterday. So, I want to find the article. Government to advise public procurement set aside framework. Okay. PMP supporter cleared for assault charges stemming from political dispute. Who is that? Which PMP supporter that? From Anata Bay, who was accused of assaulting a man campaigning ahead of February 2024 local government. Oh, that's so far back. Wow. KSMC reviewing Carnival 2026 routes. Unsafe e-waste, that's not it. NHT urges mortgages, blah blah blah. 5 million under, okay. Over 100,000, okay. I'm not seeing that article yet. The man mandate something about tailpipe. The man never drive, we don't need to read that article where they must say about the tailpipe. Last thing I want that the police to come down pound more than how them come down pound already. I don't know so the pocket bleed almost every day. I have a police friend, and I tell you, very, very close. Know the individual before they turn police. Right? And the individual said to me, say, that the too corrupt out there in the streets. You hear what me say? Among the police them. But it too corrupt out there in the streets. Not my word, Jamaica. Not my word. So me tell the individual say, listen, you serve God, God is in control. Yeah man, God is in control, man. And God move from among them, So you just go and pray. You just go and pray and make God continue to protect you. And I remember the prophecy. Sorry, it's kind of loud. I remember the prophecy of um, the apostle Jeffrey Shuttleworth in regards to the security forces and how things would be happening. We see what happened with what's it? It's not Mocha. Mighty God. What them name again? With them dismantled the other day. CTAC. Right after that prophecy, we see what happened with CTAC. Let me tell you something, Jamaica. It is no joke here. It's no joke. What is actually taking place. The conflict in the Middle East is affecting everything right now. Government of Cuba is confirming it has held discussions with Donald Trump administration. When was this? How did I miss this article? President Miguel Diaz-Canel disclosed that the talks were amid addressing long-standing differences between the two countries through diplomatic dialogue, confirming early speculation that back-channel discussions had been taking place between Hanover and Washington as tension between the two nations escalate. Wow. Audit confirms Jamaica progress in advancing climate agenda. Okay, it's the same article that I'm reading. I need to find this article, man. Let me call London and ask her where she find the article. Give me a second, please. Let me just call her. I need to find the article in Jamaica. Now, of course, Andrew Holness in recent time has put his foot in his mouth. Ryan Campbell salute, bro. He has put his foot in his mouth.
The country just affixed.
1 p.m. is pathologically mendacious.
The country just affixed back our PNP do to the country and the bullshit and all of that and the money not there for repair a school not do nothing. So the $3 trillion we miss Mr. Holness. Where the $3 trillion they were your thief, we miss we until today day. It's unaccountable. We don't know where it there. Where is it? Look here, let me tell you something, Mr. Holness. I can't wait for them lock you up and dash you the key. And when you come talking about people are worried about where you get money, bill, your Beverly Hills mansion. Mr. Holness, the one that we know say a Coco Loco, and you're going like you don't know. Mr. Holness is Coco Loco. We know say dirty money build your mansion. And it's dirty money when you have a build the apartment, them and wash them, rinse them and hang them out.
Embarrassing.
He needs some milk. If I did Mackie G, I do this, that you're the whole of the vlogger them I run with it. Say Mackie G, I'm a laundering money. But when I can't say we're Prime Minister, I launder money. That's why I can't declare on the status. Everything on the run come out here. If Mackie G fart on the run come out here. If him scratch him batty on the run come out here. When I hurt the Jamaican people,
embarrassing.
He needs some milk. Right? Mr. The man in a parliament had to go to him job one and have it whole day run up and down with. But now run up and down with the things that we are hurt the country, the facts. And this is how petty you guys can be. This is how petty. If the shoes was on the other foot and it was Mackie G, number one, if you go read up the rules of money laundering, and the best way of laundering money, exactly that the Prime Minister do, with all the properties that he bought abroad, with all of the apartments them where them are built, are the best way for wash dirty money, rinse it and hang it out. Yes. So, me no want to run come for me, and I come talk about, we want the Prime Minister to sue you successfully. Mr. Holness can't sue me for nothing at all. Like I always tell me, so when Mr. Holness I go sue, he must go sue while I'm thieving family, them, him thieving relatives, them, himself, the one of the criminal them over there. Because see, at the end of the day,
My
I
God.
don't have no respect for my leader. Unfortunately, I have to accept him as my prime minister because whether I like it, yes or no, he's my prime minister. But I have no respect for a criminal. I have no respect for a liar.
He
I
needs
have no
some
respect who
milk.
don't have the Jamaican people best interest at heart. I don't have no respect for Mr. Holness. Okay, because that man is a pathological liar. Okay, he's pathologically mendacious. He's a criminal. So I have no respect for him. So when you all come talking about, oh, we want him so successfully, listen. I want us to hurry up, get things together so we can lock up him backside successfully and dash with the damn keys. Me never seen no criminal around the country in my life before, like, oh, Mr. Holness have this a country and have no wrap around on the finger. And you all not paying attention to the real deals and the real things that make up this country. This man come talking about, because of what PNP do with FinSAC, no money in the school, no money in the fix hospital. What the bullshit? What is wrong with this man? What is wrong with this man? Eh? What is wrong with you? Look how much money you thief. You, Bigfoot, Clerk at the house, Christopher Tough Time, the Vase, the whole out over there just a thief and thief
He
and
needs
thief and
some
thief.
milk.
Andrew Weekly, the whole out over there, barbecue, the whole out over there thief, and just a thief, Floyd Reid, the whole out over there criminal.
So
Look how much money I take from education ministry the other day. Get the whole on over there, thief the money.
Something not right, my
help
little
the
warrior.
people, them if they do
Something
something
is
to
not
elevate
right.
the country.
Tell
Support
about
people
them.
like myself and my brothers and sisters, them can get for elevator. You come out here, come bring a fix that argument. I will pay freaking 200,000 for the damn report. I know you can't release it. We demand you release that file. We demand you release them information because these are the things that the Jamaican people they elaborate them for walk out and question. How we sit there
we need help, Jesus.
pay 200
Jamaica
million
need
to do
help.
a damn report and we can't see the report until today. How about that? Listen, I'm sick and I'm tired of seeing this man, right? And platform talking shit when I make no sense. Because him know said the elaborate them out there when them look at teeny brain so we're full up and have no space to learn and going to run with what he say, but they're straying away from the fact and the raw truth of what this man is doing to the damn country. That him is a top flight criminal. When you talk about it, when I run come like someone expect say, oh no can't stop me from chat because I'm a Jamaican. I'm a born Jamaican. Me have my citizenship. Me a Jamaican. You can't stop me from talk about this criminal. And it angers me, right? It angers me. And platform talking and making a fool of the people who don't understand him, making a fool of the people who love you, trust you, and respect you. I don't respect you. I have no respect for you, Mr. Holness, as a leader. Because he's a bleeder, he's a wicked, he's a liar. All you're doing is bleeding the poor class of Jamaican and wrapping them around your finger. He's a liar. Appointed time in life for you let I know that Prime Minister could have tell lie. No, me never know the Prime Minister could have said lie and blame with it. Until I've met you.
Wow.
Lucifer. This is getting out of hand with this damn man out there chatting shit at people years about because of past laws and what they sell off to plunge the debts of FinSAC. No money in the fix hospital. No money. This is bullshit. One to the nearly 200 billion dollars when you get the other day. Wait there. On a tell lies on to spend $67 billion for people hurricane relief. Liar. You spend the $67 billion, yeah, you're clowning them on a thief. I mean, this is out of hand with you people. This is out of hand. I cannot stand this man. You're getting on top of my damn nerve. My God, this is I just have enough of this shit.
1 p.m. is pathologically mendacious.
Why Jamaica? One thing me agree with her about 100%. Enough is enough with Andrew Holness and Film Squad. Enough is enough. Don't tell too much lies. Sure about that part there. That part there, sure about. You know what I mean? Everything else, you heard her. She said it, not me. Big up London 45. Mr. Pathologically Mendacious. Wow. I'm not trying to get her still, but I'm not get her. Really didn't want to know the article. But anyway, we'll move on, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody sent me a video. You know. Very happy that I got this video because again, we have to set some things straight. You understand what I'm saying? Before I do, let me go to this next one.
Marlene, forgot my manners, but why are you saying that when oh shit, me I burn up the egg them, you know some I don't like do them things. God have mercy. Jesus. Guys, I'm afraid to go to the stove. I don't want the egg them break up on me now, yo. I can't bother with them stuff me here now. God no, hope them the birds.
Yo, what is wrong here, bro?
Christ. Every time this happened to me.
What is wrong
Yesterday
with her?
the same thing happened and it almost blew up in my damn face. Can't bother, I can't manage. Mr. Honest, answer. My love, you know I love. It's a human. Don't play with me. I feel it in your fish eye. Jamaica. Since the start of the year, 64 persons was murdered by the police. Jamaica. Since the start of the year, 64 persons was murdered by the police.
64.
It be so nice. So, Mr. Prosperity, because of Mr. Holness, you want to send me money? I don't need it. You keep it. I can see you're enjoying it. I'll go over your page. Can see say I enjoy the 1.5 million USD dollars. Happy Sunday, Mr. Prosperity.
You know, I don't know why people even do that. Go up on people page and I tell them about their mother. Listen. Well, she turned it around and said, send your money. SYM, right? I don't know why people even do that. Why would you go there? Some people don't play about their mother, you know? And some people are very resourceful and very vindictive. My unsolicited advice would be for you guys to stop going on the internet and telling people about their mother. Yeah? Really and truly. Stop it. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into this, my good people. Let's get into this. Why is it not giving me the option to download the video? It's kind of pissing me off. I need to download this video, but it's not giving the option to download the video. Let me send it to myself on my phone. Normally this not take no time, you know. And them just a go on. You know them just a go on. I go check in for Mama P right about now. Check in for Mama P right about now. Here's the original clip. Oh, there's another clip. What we need for exploring and that. Alright, so we have all of them sent
all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Thank you guys for your patience. Yeah, I really need to download the video. Because the people that are watching on OBS, I like to see the video then, so yeah. For you guys, let me try and do this. Still not give me the option. Hmm. I'm gonna just share my screen, huh? Let me just share my screen. Let me share my screen.
Have made to achieve economic stability. The country cannot stand by and let this government squander the hard-won. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My administration made every effort to protect the most vulnerable, even though we were faced with an economy about to collapse, no support from multilateral partners, high and unsustainable levels of national debt, mounting joblessness, and skyrocketing inflation, which is the worst tax on the poor people.
So I have to play that back because what Mama P is giving is context of how the Jamaica Labour Party left Jamaica for Mama P to come and fix. And all the stuff that she's saying can be verified, ladies and gentlemen. All of it. There is nothing that she's saying a while ago that cannot be verified. I hope that my audio, in terms of my let me just check to see how am I sounding over there. Let me check to see how I'm sounding over there. Let me check to see. Yeah. From the other day, I've been having some audio issues. I haven't been able to really get it. You know, where when I listen back to the videos, I'm like, wait a minute, why does the audio sound like that? It's obvious that I am missing something, but yeah, let me see here. So that's not the one. This is the one. So that's not the one. Okay, it's just a bit loud. That's it. I just need to turn it down. Okay, it's just a bit low. All right, that's better. That's better. All right. So you guys are hearing me clearly. Now, let me go back to what Mama P said here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My administration made every effort to protect the most vulnerable, even though we were faced with an economy about to collapse, no support from multilateral partners, high and unsustainable levels of national debt, mounting joblessness, and skyrocketing inflation, which is the worst tax on the poor people.
So you remember when Jonas was talking about no new taxes? Well, ladies and gentlemen, under Bruce Golding and Jonas led administration, that's when that happened. Exhibit A. If I have to go to this all the time, I'm gonna go to it. This is the IMF case study. If you guys want the link to this particular article, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp because it's about you guys being educated. The number to text is 876 451 6535. As a matter of fact, let me go to OBS. I should have it up here. Oh, there it is. So for the persons on OBS, you can see it on your screen. 876 451 6535. You can hit me up and I will send you the link to this article. The article says IMF case study. This is the official IMF website. It's a case study for Jamaica specifically. So what they're talking about is Jamaica. It says here that after a debt exchange and yet another IMF support program, after a debt exchange in 2010, right? Yet another IMF program, IMF supported program that went off track. So in 2010, the IMF support program, right? It went off track in 2011. So then get this new IMF deal 2010 that the Jamaica Labour Party under Bruce Golding. It went off track in 2011. The country was on the verge of economic meltdown with no access to international capital market. Let's go back to what Mama P just said. Let's go back to it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My administration made every effort to protect the most vulnerable, even though we were faced with an economy about to collapse, no support from multilateral partners.
Those two things are already a fact. I just read that a while ago. No support from multilateral partners. They were locked out of the capital, the international capital market. It's right there on the website. It's right there on the website, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. Let's continue.
High and unsustainable levels of national debt, mounting joblessness.
So obviously the debt went up. Obviously the debt went up. You can go on the JIS website to look at what the joblessness rate was under Bruce Golding and Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness wants to forget or want us to forget that he was a part of that administration. Not only a part of the administration, a senior member of the administration, to the point when Bruce Golding was ousted, he became the party leader. So he actually was the prime minister, not elected, but selected to run the Jamaica Labour Party. So he has to take administrative blame as well for what happened with IMF when we got locked off of the capital market, and also, you know, the joblessness that Mama P is talking about, the debt that we were in. And there's more. Let's continue.
And skyrocketing inflation, which is the worst tax on the poor people.
Oh yeah, and that's a fact. Inflation is the worst tax on poor people. And why is that? Because we are the biggest consumers. We consume the most. So because we consume the most, when things are taxed, most of our money go into taxes. It's just the reality. Most of our money goes into taxes because we consume the most. We don't save a lot of our money because we really don't have enough to save. Between our bills, going to work, if you have children, God help you. Literally, God help you. So inflation, and we still have an inflation problem right now. They boasted about no new taxes for years, which was a lie. But the inflation has been rising so high, ladies and gentlemen, that they have been collecting more tax than any other administration in the history of Jamaica. Let us be clear. But let's go back to what Mama P had to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. The reality, not the lies that Andrew Holness, and the deception that his government and members of his parliament try to push out there. If you appreciate the information, you appreciate the truth, share this video with 20 people. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Bolo VNR 2.0, Bolo VNR Clips, Bolo TBV, and Bolo VNR. Subscribe to all of them, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Let's go.
My biggest concern is what effect this recklessness will have on the long-term health of the economy. After all,
So Mama P was looking far ahead. Thank God for that. Her and her administration. You know, what's done is done. The Jamaica Labour Party already damaged our international reputation. And Mama P was looking at, how do we fix this in the long term? Presently we have to do something, but it cannot just be a short term plan, right? And this is where the fiscal papers was born. This is where fiscal discipline and fiscal prudence was activated right here around this time in this moment when she started to think, how can we ensure as a government that this never happens again under the Jamaica Labour Party or any government for that matter? And she set out and she achieved what she set out to achieve. You understand? So we really have to give Mama P the credence and her administration the credence that they deserve and stop lying about the truth. But there's more. There's more, Jamaica.
sacrifices is what effect. My administration made every effort to protect the most vulnerable, even though we were faced with an economy about to collapse, no support from multilateral partners, high and unsustainable levels of national debt, mounting joblessness, and skyrocketing inflation, which is the worst tax on the poor people.
Yep.
My biggest concern is what effect this recklessness will have on the long-term health of the economy. After all, the sacrifices that the Jamaican people have made to achieve economic stability, the country cannot stand by and let this government squander the hard. That the Jamaican people have made to achieve economic stability. The country cannot stand by and let this government squander the hard-won gains. I remember 2011 when the previous JLP government unilaterally abandoned the standby agreement without implementing the necessary reform measures to which they had agreed.
So this coincides with what Mama P, what the IMF said right here. After debt exchange, and now stop beat them with the Jamaica. This is the IMF website, International Monetary Fund, official. IMF lending case study for Jamaica. Me now start beat them with this program ownership and design. After a debt exchange in 2010, yet another IMF supported program that went off track in 2011. What did Mama P just say? Let's go back to it, my people.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My biggest concern is what effect this recklessness will have on the long-term health of the economy. After all, the sacrifices that the Jamaican people have made to achieve economic stability, the country cannot stand by and let this government squander the hard-won gains. I remember 2011 when the previous JLP government unilaterally abandoned the standby agreement without implementing the necessary reform measures to which they had agreed.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't remember my microphone was on. That might have sounded a bit distorted over there. It might have sounded like double noise. Sorry about that. But again, that's exactly what happened. the Jamaica Labour Party abandoned the agreement that they had with the internet, with the multilaterals. You understand? And so we were ousted out of the international capital market, ladies and gentlemen. Things were so bad that they wanted us to crash. They wanted Jamaica to economy to die. They did not want to give us any help. If it wasn't for Mama P's popularity and also the fact that she's a woman and a woman to woman between her and Christine Lagarde, who was the director at the time, fate would have it, Jamaica would be in a place right now where there would be no supper. Most homelessness would probably be through the roof. Imagine no outside entities, the IMF, the World Bank, having anything to do with Jamaica. The dollar wouldn't have any credibility. We would fastly turn into Haiti. I can tell you that. Economically, we would turn into Haiti. Um, Culturally, I mean, the people would probably have revolted. The government probably would have to run away and go hide somewhere. Um, Crime would be at an all-time high. Education would be at an all-time low. You know, these hurricanes and stuff that come here, and these monsters that come here, Jamaica wouldn't find anybody to say, yo, um, we need your help, you know, aid and stuff like that. You know, most of the money that we got came from where? Exactly. So the relationship between these multilaterals are important, very important. As a matter of fact, let me share something with you about what Ralston Hyman said about this said importance that
That
I'm talking
clearly.
about. Big up Mr. Big up oh, here it is, yes. Let us know. This is Miss oh, that's Miss Lagarde. No, I don't want Miss Lagarde. I need what's the brother's name? The old interview with Ralston Hyman. That's what I need. Ralston Hyman outlined to Ian Boyne how important the multilaterals are. And you know, he 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 um he breaks it down better than I can because I'm not the expert he is. So I want to find the clip for you. Alright? There we are. History, right? I was using it yesterday. Thank you for the many things you've done. I just wanna thank you for the many things you've done. Remember that. La da 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 da. Mm-mm-mm. More than anyone. What that song is just. That song is just resonating in my spirit. Father God, thank you for the many things you've done. No, what is happening? Where's the interview? Maybe I scrolled up too far. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. The interview with Ian Bowen and Ralston Hyman and where my man the name? What better the name again? Ah, here it is. Got him.
Actual review has already been done, and those matters are under consideration. There are certain institutions which we must not try to politicize. So I'm one with the minister on that.
Yeah. And I think the ministers advanced this whole discussion, Roston and Dennis.
Foundation for accelerated economic growth. It met our commitments to our international partners to pay down the debt and the people of Jamaica to provide basic social services while accelerating economic growth. It's fundamental that we stick to this timetable. The minister reinforced the need to pay down the debt because the trajectory we're on is to reduce the debt to GDP ratio from 145% in 2012 to 96% by 2020 and to the internationally accepted norm of 60% by 2025. This is extremely important. It's not an academic exercise. And we want our people to understand if you owe too much money, then you'll have to be transferring your resources to servicing that debt. So you have very little resources if you bring it down to a household to fix the house, to expand the house, to buy basic food and services, as well as to provide education for your children. A nation is no different. So we need to pay down the debt so we can concentrate more resources on improving the country's social and economic infrastructure, educate our people, and to become more competitive in the international economy. So the budget lays the foundation for that. You also made a point about being accurate despite the fact that we're politicking. The orderly dissemination of accurate information is of paramount importance in the smooth functioning of a market. Now, the point being made, and I have interest here, the National Insurance Fund remains viable. The net assets of the National Insurance Fund is $71.3 billion. If you look at all the NIS numbers, we are beating inflation. And the fact of the matter is that an actuarial review has already been done, and those matters are under consideration. There are certain institutions which we must not try to politicize.
Well, go on,
So I'm
skip.
going with the minister on that.
And I think the ministers advanced this whole discussion, Roston and Dennis, of the passing of the IMF test, the rigorous pursuit of the economic reform program, and the people's test and the growth test. I think that he made the point very forcefully that the things that are being done are laying the foundation for and are creating the conditions for the growth and for the social development of people.
Most certainly, one of the things that we have been seeing in recent times because of the competitive politics, people are positively view that passing the IMF test is different from the passing the people's test. There's no dichotomy or no difference for the simple man between passing IMF test and people's test. What we want our people to understand.
Did you hear what Rasta Hyman said a while ago? There's no dichotomy in passing the people's test and passing the IMF test. It means that passing the people's test is passing the IMF test. They run concurrent. When you go into an agreement with the IMF, you fulfill the agreement. You don't want to destroy your credibility. Something that Jamaica Labour Party did in 2011. And it's not their individual credibility that they destroyed. They destroyed the credibility of Jamaica. Because the IMF did not look at JLP, they saw the government of Jamaica. That's what they saw. When Mama P go and beg and get, a second chance, I don't know, I can't speak for the IMF, but I would think they have looked at it and said, well, there's a clear difference between the JLP and the PNP. Look at what this one did and look how the JLP passed 12 consecutive tests, followed all these austerity measures, and came out successful. When people wanted our economy to die in that circle, they wanted our economy to die. They wanted Jamaica to suffer for what they did in disrespecting the IMF. That is the reality of the situation, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's continue. Learn what Ralston is saying.
People are positively view that passing the IMF test is different from the passing the people's test. There's no dichotomy or no difference for the simple man between passing IMF test and people's test. What we want our people to understand is that we have a major debt problem and the IMF is the lender of last resort. When nobody else is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, the World Bank, the Inter-American get when nobody else is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear that? You hear how many other banking institutions rely on your reputation with the IMF. So you see, when they said that Jamaica was locked out of the capital, the international capital market, all those entities are in the international capital market. Let's play that again.
And the IMF is the lender of last resort. When nobody else is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions. So it means it affects your education program, your road building program, your social security program, your investment program.
You hear how much things not passing the IMF test affect? Let's go back. I want this for soaking, you know. I know a lot of people don't like to hear the truth, but big up the few people that are here right now that love to hear the truth. Big up the people that the truth excites you. You know, you just get giddy to hear the truth. Big up on yourself. I know that is very rare, you know, because people like to hold on to misconceptions that they have received. You understand? Because they are tired and they are die-hearted. But big up the people. If there's one Labourite out there we are listening right now, I never know this. I want to come to the truth. I want to accept it. I want to go do the research and accept it. Big up on yourself. There is hope for this country. The Jamaica Labour Party has been lying to the people regarding fiscal discipline and fiscal prudence. They are not the father. Them is not the pitney. Them is not the grandparents. Them not in the lineage. None at all. As far back as Edward Siaga, them not in the lineage. Mr. Wizard himself. That is why I came to the conclusion that there's two things happening here now. One or two things happening here are both. One, the Jamaica Labour Party is incompetent, they don't know what they're doing. Or two, them purpose now what them do and them are trying to tear down the country. I genuinely have come to this conclusion. Genuinely based off evidence. It is hard for me to, but it took some time, but I was like, man, these dudes is not leaving me no choice.
Last resort. When nobody else is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions. So it means it affects your education program, your road building program, your social security program, your investment program. So passing the IMF test is integral to getting money from these institutions, as well as to improve investor confidence. It is investor confidence which drives investments, and it is investments which drives jobs and growth.
Jamaica, the intertwine, the importance of the reputation Jamaica has with the IMF cannot be understated. Did you hear all of the areas which would be affected? Investment. Investment, Jamaica. What has Andrew Holness boasted about? Public and private investment. Them claim to say, yes, there's prosperity. Who is really responsible for the prosperity, if there's any? Who is really responsible for the foundation being set for potential prosperity? Mama P, Mama P, straight up Jamaica. And let's get back to Mama P. I'm just going to play this part one more time. One more time.
So passing the IMF test is integral to getting money from these institutions, as well as to improve investor confidence. And it is investor confidence which drives investments, and it is investments which drives jobs and growth. So passing the IMF test lays the foundation for accelerated economic growth and social development.
Dennis,
Let's get back. Let's get back to Mama P.
Mr. Speaker, the consequences were devastating. Do you remember that our economy was closed off from access to the international financial markets and from multilateral and bilateral funding sources? Do you remember that we lacked the IMF seal of approval, which is a precondition for such financing? Do you remember that no one would lend Jamaica money at affordable rates, a precondition for such financing, and from multilateral and bilateral funding sources? Do you remember that we lacked the IMF seal of approval, which is a precondition for such financing?
That's exactly what Rastenheimer just explained a while ago. The seal of approval, meaning your reputation with the IMF, affects all those other banks, all those other multilaterals, to say whether or not they deem you credible to lend you their money. See, that's what she's talking about. Listen again. We are break it down, you know. We are break it down like how my mother did. My mother did help me for read properly. In terms of saying my words, I used to stutter. Believe it or not. Here I am, speaking in front of hundreds of people sometime, online, all over the world. Yeah, so shout out to mommy. Big up mommy. Yeah, let's continue.
Closed off from access to the international financial markets and from multilateral and bilateral funding sources. Do you remember that we lacked the IMF seal of approval, which is a precondition for such financing?
IMF seal is a precondition for funding. They didn't have it. They didn't have it.
Do you remember that no one would lend Jamaica money at affordable rates?
Nobody.
And that our foreign reserves were dwindling?
Can you imagine? Look at all the conditions that Mama P gave. When they said that, when the IMF said in this article, right? When the IMF said in this article that in this post on the IMF website that Jamaica was on the verge of economic meltdown, they were not kidding. Those conditions that the Jamaica Labour Party left us in. Remember, it's the same period when the thing with Dodos happened, You know what things happened to the JLP in that period? Corruption of its highest with them connection to Dodos. And actually, there's reports that came out that was verified that them actually pay for lawyer fees. There was some sort of alleged delay in giving up Dodos to the United States. I'm telling you, there's a lot to go into when it comes to this Jamaica Labour Party. But none of it is good. None of it is good, Jamaica. But, this part talks about Jamaica needed a second debt exchange and a primary surplus of 7.5% of GDP to help stabilize the economy and address long-standing structural challenges. This is the main reason why they had to take the $11.4 billion from the NHT temporarily. Temporary mean for a short period of time. Not what Jamaica Labour Party is doing now. Did you know that they took it to court, Jamaica? Hey, Mr. Julian Robinson, Don and Junior. Hey, you see tomorrow? Mark Jefferson Goli. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check in for me live. Tell a friend. Bolo VNR live with the thing. Me I look for no come out tomorrow. Hundreds. Come support Marky G on the platform right now. So no look at joke. Yeah, man. Let's go back to Mama P now. Lord of mercy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 1. Unilaterally abandoned the standby agreement without implementing the necessary reform measures to which they had agreed. Mr. Speaker, the consequences were devastating.
Devastating.
Do you remember that our economy was closed off from access to the international financial markets and from multilateral and bilateral funding sources. Do you remember that we lacked the IMF seal of approval, which is a precondition for such financing? Do you remember that no one would lend Jamaica money at affordable rates?
Nobody.
And that our foreign reserves were dwindling? Do you remember that investor confidence had dried up? Do you remember the trust deficit? Jamaica was on the edge of a precipice.
Yep.
Jamaica was hanging by a thread.
No joke.
Many pundits had written us off.
That is the truth. Yeah, man, them say, the pundits, them say, yo, make them crash, man. Make them crash. That's what the pundit said, make them crash and dead and burn, brother. That's literally what the pundit said.
Mr. Speaker, many Jamaicans would not have known the extent to which we worked as a government to restore Jamaica's standing with the IMF and other international partners. I remember how utterly discouraging and at times embarrassing it was for us. There were those within the international financial community who felt that Jamaica should be allowed to fail.
Bingo. That is what Andrew Holness, Bruce Golding led administration with Andrew Holness as a senior member. That's what they did to this country. Make them come see a lie we are telling. Make them come see a misinformation. Hey, where is Dana Morris Dixon? Where is she at, bro? Bro. I'm tired to wait for Dana Morris Dixon to come out and call out misinformation. Where is Dana Morris Dixon? Where is this campaign? I thought she was going to do something like Nikisha Burchett. I thought she was going to come out and do videos. Misinformation 101, episode 1. Addressing book, and just lay out the facts. Where is it, Dana? Them have you busy. I bet there's an excuse for that. Because that's what the JLP does in the day. Good for excuses. They talk about commitment but don't understand what commitment is. Unfortunately. Guys over there on OBS, you're supposed to can type now. Alright? Check the status. You're supposed to can type now. I put it on members only for a short amount of time.
The actions of the previous government led them to believe that Jamaica could not be trusted. No one...
Mighty God. You remember what I said earlier? The IMF and the World Bank and all these banking entities believe that Jamaica could not be trusted. I don't think y'all understand what the JLP did to us. You know why you don't understand? Jamaica was like a child at that point. And honestly, Mama P and her administration was Superman and Wonder Woman. All in one. Teamed up. The entire team represented Superman and Wonder Woman. Two of the strongest beings in the animes or in the cartoon, right? And everybody wrote them off. Right? And just looked at them as people with no integrity. Furthermore, when Mama P convinced them after begging, imagine Superman. Just imagine Superman and Wonder Woman getting on their knees and begging. Just imagine that. That is the position that the Jamaica Labour Party put this country in. Left us for dead. We were not on life support. They left the country of Jamaica bleeding out with a wound long from the waist, go all the way up under the heart, bleeding out. And Mama P You understand? Wonder Woman and Omar Davis at the time and the entire all of the men them. Everybody represents Superman this. We work together. Ralston and man and the whole of them we advised them and everybody. We was a part of that whole thing at the time. The outside people them because listen, Mama P start helping her. Mama P never does. Mama P was wise enough. Mama P said get the best of the best, We need them, Do it now. We need to we need to deal with this thing here. And of course, Mark Golden was also a part of that as well, where the fiscal rules and so is concerned and the legislation and all type of thing. Marky J the lawyer, man, they know the thing going play a role in the dead. Yes. Even Julian Robinson was there. When Julian Robinson is talking from a place of experience. Did you guys see the video with Miss Lagarde? Hold on. For the people in OBS. Let me show you Julian Robinson in the crowd while Miss Lagarde was speaking in 2015. Who that? Man himself. The man, a young Julian Robinson. Zane, he was there, Jamaica. That's why Andrew can't chat to him. If Andrew ever even tried to chat to him directly, Julian have to remind him, so remember I was there. I was a part of that. PNP. I was there. I know what happened. We experienced it. So, if you have any doubt about Julian Robinson's competence as a finance minister, just understand that he was there, and that experience has to shape him. You understand? Jamaica, we missed the ball on September 3rd. We did. Whether enough people didn't come out to vote, whether you took money to not vote, whether you took money to vote for the Jamaica Labour Party, we dropped the ball on September 3rd. The People's National Party does not have a perfect team, but they got a damn good set of people over there that are competent. I'm talking about, man, I really, oh my God, just to see them go to work, oh my God. We really missed the ball, Jamaica. We really missed the ball. Philippa, how you doing? Right? But, it is what it is. Hey. We're where we're at right now. Prayers have gone up and God is working on our behalf. Right? Let's continue.
Was willing to bank on Jamaica. Mr. Speaker, that is what is embarrassing. It was for us. There were those within the international financial community who felt that Jamaica should be allowed to fail. The actions of the previous government led them to believe that Jamaica could not be trusted. No one was willing to bank on Jamaica. Mr. Speaker, that is why it took my administration 1 year to get an agreement. 1 year.
Jamaica. 1 year. One year. 1 year now? 365 days in the wilderness. Embarrassing. Mama P and our administrator, especially the finance minister at the time. The man said he had to walk with his resignation. Imagine drowning while there's a volcano happening and lava run under the water. And 4 anchor tied upon your hands and feet. And God alone can lift you up out of that. You're chained down, with no key, and 2 anchor drag you underwater, And if you feel like, say, at some point, some miracle can happen. Big up yourself, Blacker. Where you can free of them chain there. You're gonna meet the lava and yeah man, you're gonna meet the lava man. Water scorching at the top and I come down to you. So you know they're in a good place. Just imagine that. That's what they did to us, Jamaica. That's what they did to you. You see them elaborate them, we have kill up yourself ball labor, right? Then do it to you too, you know. So you think so you was gonna live in Jamaica and IMF not dealing with us. None of these multilaterals not dealing with us. Was not going to affect you and your children. Education, listen. Let me go back to what Rasta Nyman said. For you guys to really make it soaking, because I don't think it has. So let me go back to it. About all the things that the IMF having good relations or not having good relations with the IMF, how it actually affects us. Listen to this.
Been passing IMF tests and people's tests. What we want people to understand is that we have a major debt problem and the IMF is the lender of last resort. When nobody else is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions. So it means it affects your education program, your road building program, your social security program, your investment program. So passing the IMF test is integral to getting money from these institutions. Or getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions. So it means it affects your education program.
Imagine our education program being affected, guys. The education program that needs to be improved anyway. The education program that's been deteriorating under the Jamaica Labour Party for the last 10 years. Imagine that.
Your road building program.
Our roads are in crisis right now. Imagine if we didn't have the IMF and all these other banking
All lies will be exposed. That's
multilaterals.
all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way.
Our roads, the road infrastructure. We have a road crisis right now. Imagine from that time till now not having the IMF. Hey,
Your social security program. Your
social security program. Man, listen.
education program, your road building program, your social security program, your investment program.
And if you don't really, the social security program, if you're not really paying attention to that, just look on your investment program. Look upon it with a third eye. Investors not confident in coming into the Jamaica market and investing. Job creation, all of that. No building, no expansion, no development. Jamaica would be a barren land. Barren from prosperity. When I tell you Jamaica would have been worse than Haiti, I am not exaggerating. Imagine we the people in a desperate situation and the IMF and these entities that is the last resort deciding that they're not going to lend us any money because of what the JLP did. Suppose them did stick out and say no, Jamaica, and let Jamaica crash like they want it to happen. Just imagine that. You guys really have to really let that soak in and let it digest. You know when you got the salon and the lady at your foot or them a give a massage or one of them place there and you know say some deep tissue you feel the tension remove. Well, imagine the reverse. Imagine the pressures of not having that access, and how it would be the opposite. Tensions rising, but suicide rate would have go up. Yo, me tell you something. Resilient or not, Jamaica would have in a trouble. I'm not talking about some serious trouble at every level. The hospital them already, like even though we go to the IMF now and we have fiscal discipline and prudence and the papers, the fiscal papers, then look at the hospitals, ladies and gentlemen. What would have happened to healthcare? Cuba and them gone. Look how volatile our healthcare system is. They think so we could have survived that. And then, say for instance, some countries out there decide say them are gonna lend Jamaica some money. What would that mean for our assets? And then those countries, why would they lend us? Because with this the entity that is the last resort. So what kind of package you think those entities would put together? You ever see a woman when alright, let me put it this way. Jamaica would be a child that lost her father and her mother, or his father and his mother, and predators, predators would be looming. Jamaica would be great, and repeatedly. And I'm looking at it from a financial perspective. Jamaica would be great, taken advantage of as a country, as a nation. Now, the Jamaica Labour Party has come to a new low, I never thought they could, but they actually did, Jamaica. They came to a new law. What did they do? Well, they removed the Cuban doctors and destroyed diplomatic relations with Cuba. Who you think have to, who you think has to amend that again, or has the potential to amend it? I'm not saying they will, but who has the potential? The People's National Party. Because up to this day, they have stated their clear position that they support Cuba. We need to get to a place where, one, we have the trained professionals that are as competent as the Cuban doctors, and two, we need to pay them properly so they never leave or would not want to leave. They can genuinely, you know, have a family and have security and live good here in Jamaica while being a nurse or a doctor or a specialist and being a productive member of society. That's a whole other conversation. Let's continue. Mama P again.
Once we had an agreement, many said we would not stay the course. I was described as too populist. Well, any politician that don't have some popularity dead.
Hey, they really tear down Mama P still, Heal the woman, Jamaica. Heal the woman. Where credit is due, she have to get her credit. Heal the woman. Yeah, heal the woman.
Many said I did not have the guts to implement the tough measures required to fix Jamaica's economy. I don't know who wanted to test the strength of a woman.
Hey, let me tell you something. I am going to give her that. Usually I don't, the woman thing, the woman card, I don't like when anybody plays it, but I'm going to give her that. Being the first woman to become prime minister, a lot of naysayers, they gave her the country in the worst position, one of the worst position on economic collapse. Hmm? Terrible relationships with multilaterals. Well, destroyed relationships, no relationship at all. Left for dead. But, with herself, her popularity, and all that makes her up, and her team around her, we must not forget. Firm and strong, Jamaica. Firm and strong. Heal the woman.
They said I would not use my political capital. Well, we proved all the naysayers wrong. We were determined to restore Jamaica's honor, dignity, and good name in the world.
Determined and successful. They were determined and they were successful. It wasn't just a bag of chat. They really did it, Jamaica. The People's National Party did it. They did it for all of us. Even you will never vote for them. They never did it for PNP now. They did it for Jamaica. The People's National Party has always chose Jamaica. And you guys got caught up in a racist campaign. All of you, I'm speaking to your heart right now. You know who you are out there watching right now. Ingrid, how you doing, my darling? You know who you are. You let the Jamaica Labour Party trick you like the devil does out of your own progress and prosperity for not just you but your children as well and your children's children. Sana, how you doing? That's what you guys did. You know yourselves, whoever is watching out there. You know yourselves. You know yourselves.
And Mr. Speaker, we did all of this in the interest of the Jamaican people.
One Mama P, man. One Mama P. You understand? Sorry about that. One Mama P, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, let me drop off of that. Besides, so me never get what's your name? Land and 45 putting on my sure, one other people. Just give me a second. I'm gonna try again. I need to read that article. I'm really interested in that article. I'm really interested in that article. Trust me. Um, oh my. Gosh, we now get her. We now get her at now get her at I'm going to get that article, you know. I'm not going to play the video again. Hold on. Maybe somebody out there knows the article that she's referencing. Because I've been looking for it and I can't find it. Let me play it again.
1 p.m. is pathologically mendacious.
Newsflash, guys, newsflash. This news just come in a while ago. Auditor flags possible fraud at JAS, Jamaica Agriculture Society. 14 hours ago, government auditors have raised concern about possible collusion in the division of public funds linked to the Jamaica Agriculture Society. So let me tell you something. When you know want something to talk about, you know, go on over there, go talk about the criminal, them, I want to leave me alone. I'm not running the country, I'm not working for the government. All I'm out here doing is talking for myself and my people. On a got to hell with a bag of teeth them over there. On an idiot lab rats, y'all. Newsflash, you guys.
Alright, so I found the article, guys. I found the article. Yeah, I sure did. This was what, yesterday? Well, this was not yesterday, it was early today. Alright, so let me send it to my Telegram. I'll open it from there. Un momento, por favor. Let's read. Let me share my screen. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I found the article. Let me share my screen. So, audit flags possible fraud at JAS. 1.4 million diverted to third party by senior member. Hey, boy. Ladies and gentlemen. This article is short, but definitely ones that need to be highlighted. Yet again, our country is plagued with corruption. Some people might say $1.5 million, that's not a lot of money. Huh? How much time did this happen? Or other things like this happen? If it happened a million times, how much is a, or 1,000 times? How much is $1.45 million by 1,000? So it says audit flags possible fraud. And oh, by the way, please remember to like the video and share the video if you haven't already. Thank you kindly. Audit flags possible fraud at JAS. Mommy, mommy, mommy. Okay. Audit flags possible fraud at JAS. 1.45 diverted to third party by senior manager. This is the observer. It goes on to say that, what is this? Listen to the audio version of this article. What? I saw them bossy. Go there, hey, go there, hey, go there. You go put yourself, go there, observer. As much as all no bias, no go there. True, no go there. Me like that. You give credit where credit is due. Government auditors have raised concern about possible collusion in diversion of public funds linked to the Jamaica Agricultural Society. According to a report tabled in the House of Parliament on Tuesday, the issues are outlined in the Government of Jamaica GOJ Audit Committee's annual report. Um, Financial year 2024 to 2025, prepared by the Internal Audit Directorate IAD in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, which reviewed governance and financial management issues identified across ministries, departments, and agencies during 2024 to 2025 financial year. According to the report, the internal audit identified improper payments totaling 1.45 million that were delivered to third parties by a senior manager, raising concerns about possible collusion and mismanagement of public funds by a senior manager. No, public funds within entities under the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, including the Jamaica Agriculture Society. Who is the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and Mining? Yeah, man, fly grade. Mr. No Movement there? Yeah, man, him. The report also highlighted weaknesses in financial record keeping, noting that auditors were unable to account for more than 2.1 million at the Fisheries Division and Castleton Botanical Gardens because of missing documentation, including lodgement slips and vouchers. Ladies and gentlemen, what is wrong with this government on every level? What is wrong with them? Why is it that they have a problem with proper documentation for auditing? Why? Why them stay so? It's almost like it's deliberate. It's almost like somebody's covering their tracks. It's almost like somebody don't want to get caught because their hands was already in the cookie jar. That's what it looks like, Jamaica. That is the perception they get from this. And these are the type of things that destroy investor confidence in the country. It goes on to say that audit committees further report that government subventions were repeatedly used for purposes other than those intended. Yeah. While breaches of employment guidelines were also detected within the ministry's portfolio. The findings were among a number of issues identified by audit committees. during their review of internal audits for the financial year ending March 31st, 2025. This was just like a year ago in Jamaica, or a little bit over a year ago, 2 years ago, given the time of the audit between 2024 and 2025. All right, 2 years ago, because when I reach March 31st, I'll put that 2 years, because we're in March. The ministry paper accompanying the report indicates that the issues identified are part of a broader governance weakness across several government entities. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm glad they said that this is a part of a broader governance weakness across several government entities. It noted that internal control breaches and non-compliance with financial guidelines have resulted in salary overpayments exceeding what? $200 million. Mighty God. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Help,
No.
help, help. You key out of the ladder.
Can't do no more of this.
We're tired of the labor
Can't do no
rights.
more of this.
We're tired of the green people. We are so far. We can't take it no more.
No,
We
sir.
need it. We need it. Help. Help. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Psalm 43. God is our refuge and strength. Is a liberator.
Jamaica. Let me read that again. Cause maybe you not hear or you not look on the screen or you not see what me say in that article here. It says it notes that internal control breaches and non-compliance with financial guidelines, right, have resulted in salary overpayments. Jesus. Salary overpayments exceeding $200 million and project overruns of more than 136 million across ministries, departments, and agencies. You know, can I tell you that I believe that figure is probably more? But this is just the year 2024, 2025. Let us be clear. This is just the year 2024, 2025. $200 million of overpayments, 136 million across ministries, departments, and agencies. The report also raised concern about the speed in which ministries respond to audit findings, noting that timeliness of management responses to, declined to 33% in 2024-2025 financial year, down from 52% the previous year. So Jamaica, we have not only a problem, but we have a consistent and perpetual problem. So the findings of the audit are not being responded to in a timely manner. In 2024 financial year, it was 52%, and it's now at 33% for the financial year of 2024-2025. Mighty God. 19% decline, ladies and gentlemen, from where it was. 19% decline. That is not no baby number in terms of percentages. 19% of any company in terms of loss in efficiency. Trust me. The CEO, the owner, which we are the Jamaican people, we are the owner. That this lack of response is also the reason why $200 million of overpayments is there. Is also the reason why $136 million of project overruns in 2024-2025 financial year could have increased or is increasing in financial year 2025-2026. Remember, 2025-2026 had done in a April, March 31st. When the man them go do the internal audit now for 2025, 2026, can you imagine how much money? Let us do the math, ladies and gentlemen. Let us go with a 19% reduction in the response again. It will take us to a measly figure of 14%, right? In terms of timeliness of response, management responses. So the management in these ministries have not responded to the audit effectively. So now you have a problem, it's a perpetual problem, but to fix the problem, the response is significantly delayed, and it has been delayed over time. So what is a 19% increase of 200 million? Let us this is a what you call it now? This is not factual number. This is potential number of loss. It could be more, it could be less. Alright? So $200 million, ladies and gentlemen, see? Divided by 100, that's 1% of 200 million. Times that by 19, add 200 million to it. $238 million. Potentially, after when the next report comes out for 2026 financial year that don't finish yet, we might see an increase of 90% or more in the amount of money that is wasted under this administration, ladies and gentlemen. This is just 2024-2025 financial year. $1.45 million was diverted to third parties by a senior manager, raising concerns about possible collusion and mismanagement of public funds within entities under the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Upside flight green and Holness. How it go? How it go? How it really go? Tell us how it really go. My goodness, no man. Jamaica, let me know what you think in our comment section about that. Let me know what you think about that. Tell them why. People, I guess somebody left it in. I know it wasn't the best time for me to go live, but it's the time that I could go live. I'm a bit tired. Um, Tomorrow I have a long day in terms of I don't want to miss. I want to be fresh and sharp for Mark Golding's budget presentation. Fresh and sharp, Jamaica, 2 p.m. Alright? I have some videos that I'm going to be releasing before then. So look out for those. Very interesting content. And bless you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for all the shares. For the persons on TikTok, go to Bolo VNR 2.0 on YouTube and follow me there so you can watch the videos and the presentations that I put forward here. God bless you all, and you guys have a wonderful night. Peace. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Hit the like button before you exit. Alright?